Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Bogey Proof. We got three people on the Bogey Proof staff here, Matt, Joey, and Mike. Ready to do a little recap of this weekend's golf. We had the Augusta National Women's Amateur, the ANA Inspiration, and the Valero Texas Open. So a lot of good golf this weekend, and we kind of wanted to close the book on these three events before we lead into a week of the Masters. There's really no time for anything else when the Masters is going on. So, Matt, where are you coming from? What are you sipping on?
Live from Connecticut, and little curveball this week. Found one of these in the fridge. I think my girlfriend might have left one here, but little Miller High Life, the champagne of
Oh, the
beers,
champagne
coming
of
at
beers.
coming at you this week. Joey, I feel like you'd appreciate this one. I
I
feel like
do appreciate that, Fontaine. I do.
quite
Uh,
delicious to be expected. But what do you got, Joey? You sipping on anything good tonight?
nah, boys. As you know, tonight's the last night in Florida. We're packing up, just taking a little break. I think I have just vodka and maybe some gin, and I'm sorry, I'm not gonna just drink that straight up because I literally have no mixers, no nothing. So we're drinking water tonight. We're hitting the road early tomorrow morning, and I'm sure we'll talk about that trip on a future episode. But yeah, we're getting out of town. Mikey, what about you?
First off, I just want to, Fontaine, I respect the Miller High Life. I think some people question how high quality the High Life is. I actually like it more than a Miller Lite. So I'm more of a Miller High Life guy. Um, but coming to you guys live from Pinehurst, North Carolina, sipping on a Southern Pines Man of Law American IPA. So went a little local. This is actually only the second time I've had this beer before. The other time I was playing number two on a hot August afternoon, and so good memories from sipping on this beer. It was one of the funnest times I would say I've had on a golf course post college. Got out there on number two a couple of years ago, and excited for 6 weeks here in Pinehurst and playing a bunch of good golf and practicing and getting the game right. But let's break down this weekend's golf. Matt, I know we talked about a lot the other last weekend about the Augusta National Women's Amateur. Kind of what went on there, and what were a couple of the highlights?
Yeah, so obviously, whenever you get a chance to see any sort of golf played at Augusta, you take as much advantage as you can. So it was awesome seeing, the grounds, the conditions, just watching them hit shots that you're used to seeing hit at Augusta, right? The having to play all the slopes and, all that fun stuff that we love to see. So awesome seeing Augusta in its prime and pretty competitive tournament, honestly, coming down the stretch. It looked like at one point there was gonna be like an 8-person playoff if the final group didn't make a bunch of birdies on the way in, and ended up being a 2-person playoff between Amelia Magliaccio. Accio. I don't know. Apologies in advance for how bad that was, but and let's see, Subasa Kajitani, who they ended up
I,
playing in a playoff. I feel like that was okay.
I think you nailed that.
And so they got into playoff at 1 over. I think 2 under was leading it going to Augusta, so it kind of fell back, which to be expected. It was a little chilly down there in Georgia. I think they had a frost delay actually that morning. And then obviously Augusta is going to play a lot more difficult for, amateurs who have seen it only the day before for the most part, if they hadn't played in this and, the 2 years ago when it was played. But really awesome tournament. I thought, like, I don't know how much you guys got to watch, but I watched probably the last 5 or 6 holes. Obviously, it's amazing seeing the back nine of Augusta and it matter and, the intensity and all that fun stuff. And the thing that stood out to me outside of the playoff was just how difficult the greens are there. Obviously, it's like well documented how, you have to play there a million times and, really work hard on your practice rounds. The pros always talk about that, like really taking advantage of their practice rounds when they're out there just to, make sure they really understand the greens. But it's just crazy how good these girls hit the ball and like how hard the putting was, like how good they are of players and how much they struggled on the greens. Like, I feel like every time I was watching, it'd be like fairway, green, and then like really like way off on a birdie putt and like really working hard to 2-putt a lot of holes, which just goes to show you how good like the pros are that play. Obviously, they get to play it a lot more, so they got the reps and kind of experience or whatnot. But that kind of stood out to me is just like how sneaky hard and like the undulation and like lay of the land, all that different stuff. It's just so hard to read as good as they are, best woman amateurs in the world, and they hit the like shit out of the ball. It was just impressive to see how well they strike the ball. and then how hard those greens really are. We just kind of gets glossed over because we see the guys play it all the time every year, and they're the best players in the entire world. So they kind of make it look a lot easier than it is. But yeah, I don't know if you guys had a chance to watch too much, but obviously Tsubasa ended up winning the playoff over Amelia. And like, weird fact about Amelia is that, and I got this out of the broadcast, and not going to take credit for any crazy research here, but her mom played on, I don't know if she played on tour, but at least was a really good player in her own right. She was on the bag for her, but she's like done competitively after this. She was like, yeah, I'll finish up at Wake Forest, and then competitive golf just isn't for me. She was like, clearly a pretty damn good amateur being in,
I think she's like number 4 in the world.
She was, and she slipped down to like 11, I think.
Okay.
She was number 4 like her sophomore or junior year at Wake Forest. And now she's, I think, in her senior year, they're saying she slipped down to like 11 in the world, but still, that's pretty damn good. And she's like, yeah, for competitive golf, this is it for me, which is kind of crazy, right? You don't usually see that. It's like, this is usually like, you see US AMs or US women's AMs and all that stuff. It's like, this is like, a step along the process to get to a pro level. And it seems like she has all the talent in the world and could do it if she wanted to, but she's simply choosing not to. And her passion is really, I guess, writing. She's already written one book, I guess, while she was in college, and that's the path she's choosing to go down as opposed to golf, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. You don't hear that every day, especially when you're that good as an amateur. It's one thing to kind of be good, try it for a few years and be like, yeah, no, it's not for me. Like, she's just being like, nah, I'm good, like, before she even gets out there. So
yeah, I can chime in here, Matt. And I didn't get to watch a ton just with the travel from Chicago here to Pioneer Saturday and Sunday, but I was definitely following along on Wednesday and Thursday for the first couple rounds, and checking my phone on Saturday. But I thought what stood out to me, and you kind of noted, was just how solid the field was in general. I saw on 2 difficult golf courses, the golf course they played first and then Augusta National as well, tons of people around par, and people shooting a couple under, in some tough cold conditions and windy conditions in Georgia, stuff none of us could be doing right now. So fun to kind of see them have some strong scores. And as far as Amelia, I think it's interesting because, I mean, obviously we have no idea, and we love the game of golf, and we probably would do anything to play professionally at the highest level. And she's there. Like, she's not a pro, but she's probably a top 150 player in the world, or in some capacity, or maybe 250, top woman player in the world. So interesting that she's going down that path. But who knows? I think there's some different perspectives too, because there's just not the money in a women's game that there is in men's game too. So, unless you're a top 25 player in the women's game, like, you're probably not a millionaire. And likely from a sponsorship standpoint, like, it's just not nearly as lucrative. So if she's a tremendous writer, and I'm sure she is, and I'm sure she's kind of vetted all the different opportunities that she, has an option to partake in, maybe that's following her passion is going to be lucrative for her, and she's going to love it, and she'll play golf on the side or do whatever. So interesting. I hope she continues with the game of golf. And yeah, she says she's not going to play too much competitive, but it would be hard pressed to not see her in a U.S. women's AM down the line, or competing in a U.S. women's AM if she decides to stay amateur for a period of time. So yeah. Joey, did you get to watch it all? Did you follow along? I know you said you were all in on the drive, chip, and putt today.
Yeah, well, today, last day of work, I wasn't looking to really do much, so just tried to waste as much time as I could, and just if fit the Easter mood.
Boy of the year, baby, that's the attitude.
I mean, Augusta on Easter, it kind of goes together like spaghetti and meatball. Yeah, a little ramen tuna fish, if you will. No, but so yeah, I tried watching the tournament as much as I really could, actually. As I told you guys, that one of the members at the club I previously worked at, weird, I can say that now. Their niece was, she was playing in that tournament. She made the cut, so she went to Augusta. So, if you have any type of attention like that, you kind of get drawn a little towards it. And granted, I didn't see any of her, but between the competition of the girls, it's just so fascinating to just see how talented they are and how young they can be. And I think Fontaine and you both kind of hit the nail on the head, so I'm not going to really go into any of those details. And I think we can kind of use this more as a transition as well into the ANA. But like this past weekend with watching the amateur and trying to just keep an eye on the ANA Inspiration, like it's crazy to see how slow their tempos are and just how smooth they swing. And like last night when I was out playing for the, I kind of felt like I was trying to keep that same tempo as they were. And I don't, like I just in this past weekend, I feel like I found a little bit more of a fascination in, women's golf, and I enjoy watching it a little bit more and more as we continue to do this and, continue to talk about it. But, yeah, I mean, the amateur is always fun to watch. I look forward to the years to come. And as far as the ANA goes, I haven't gotten to watch too much of it. As I've said to you guys earlier, it's been kind of just background noise for me. It's been on. I'm kind of watching it, but not truly paying attention to it. I know Lydia Cole is is absolutely going off right now. And I know Fontaine, you'll probably dive in a little deeper with that because I know you're kind of a big fan of her. So I'll let you talk about her if you want, if you don't have anything else on the women's amateur.
Yeah, no, I mean, the women's am was awesome. I love that it's just a new avenue to kind of get some exposure to Lady Golf and let these super talented players kind of build their characters, brand, whatever you want to call it, to make you kind of want to watch them when you then see them in a year or two come on the pro tour, if that's what they choose to do. You bring up a good point though, with like that tempo thing. I think it's really cool we see the pros, and then a lot of times like you without even realizing, you probably emulate what you watch, like what you consume for golfers, right? So when you see the pros, they take like mighty lashes at the ball. Like sometimes some guys are much smoother than others, but the ones you see all the time, Rory, Bryson, DJ, these guys take just mighty lashes at the ball. And it's like, they're so freaking talented that like they can swing that hard and square it up and hit it the right way every time.
Yeah.
You go out there and try and swing like that, you're going to be whiffing toe ball, like sculling it, like hitting it like shit. Where when you watch the woman or the women's AMs, like you watch these guys, like them dissect golf courses, and like you said, their tempo is just so smooth. Watching that and then emulating that is probably much better for 99% of the world's golf game than watching the men whack at it and like swing like crazy people and have these 180 mile an hour ball speeds and all this stuff that's really unachievable no matter how hard most of us swing.
Exactly.
Yeah, so I think that's just a cool thing. I think that's why I kind of like watching Lady Golf, because it's just like more of like, hey, I can do that. If it like to an extent, it's like if I focus, whatever it may be, like I can take something from this and actually apply it to my game, where it's like, no matter how many times I watch Bryson hit a golf ball, I can't create any of that.
It's just, it's more relatable golf to watch, I feel like, and not saying we're professionals or anything like that, but
sure not. They'd wipe the floor with me.
Absolutely. But, that's just the kind of way I think of it. And like you just say, the way you just put it, I just feel it's a little bit more relatable to everybody,
Joey, speaking of relatable, so they're on 15 right now, and they're 18 under par for
that's the unrelatable part.
Lydia Ko's 10 under through 15 holes right now. We're recording this Sunday night here. It's like 7:30 Eastern time. They're out in California, so they got 6 holes left for the leaders, and Lydia Ko was a little bit behind. She's 10 under through 15 holes today on a Sunday in a major championship. So pretty impressive shit.
Shout out Patty Tava Tanakit.
Tanakit. There you go.
Patty Tava Tanakit. Got it the first time.
Take one and run.
Yeah, but Patty's been crushing all week. She was leader after day one and continues to lead after 54 holes, and looks like she's going to get it done. Well, when this goes live on Monday, we'll know who has won, but looks like they're having a battle here on Sunday afternoon. And shout out Megan Kang is climbing the leaderboard here. And can we just talk about how awesome Shen Feng is? Like,
superstar.
is she
absolute superstar?
I mean,
take my money. Insert gif of like baby throwing money. Like, take my money. I want to be a part of. I want to like. Can we sponsor her? Can we get a little? We have no money to offer, but can we get a little Bogey proof? Like, slap that on the bag. Like, be a part of that. She's awesome. Post-round interviews, just dominating.
There is nothing better than hearing an elite professional athlete just talk about just like, yeah, I didn't do anything. All I did was eat and sleep. And hey, why were you successful today? I don't really know. I don't really care. I'm going to go back to the hotel. I'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, she's just the way she goes about it. And of course, she's from China, but her English is tremendous. But
Yeah.
her voice inflections are top notch.
Yeah.
Like the way she articulates her words is some of the most hysterical. But I mean, it's great. It's just she's just a tremendous human being and an unbelievable golfer. She didn't play for over a year, and she comes back the first day and shoots like the most nonchalant 5 under. It's like, I don't play for a year and I can't break 80. So it's just the level of talent. I think Kay Cockrell it was either Kay Cockrell or Dottie Pepper made a comment on Thursday or like Friday's like, if Shen Chang Feng like went in the gym, she's like, there would be no hope for the rest of women's golf, because she is like never went in the gym in her entire life, and she just hits it like 250 dead straight off the tee and
old as she
pounds it.
You know,
I think she's a little younger. She looks a little younger, but like to your point, Mikey, it's just so nice to see that candid, like so many times, especially with the PGA Tour, like just due to the over media manipulative nature of media, everybody gives you the cookie cutter answers. Like she was just so candid, and like after day one, right? They're like, "Oh, you haven't played a year. What'd you do?" She's like, during quarantine, I would wake up, I'd think about what I want for breakfast, and then I'd eat it, and I'd think about what I want for lunch, and then I'd eat it, and I'd think about what I want for dinner, and then I'd eat it, and then I'd go to bed." And they're like, "Oh, okay." Like they had no idea that was coming, and it was like the highlight. Like I need that like clip saved to my phone, so when people ask me like, "Oh, what'd you do this weekend?" Like send, like just start doing that. And then day 2, I think it was, "Oh, like you find yourself in the lead after not playing for a year. Like how'd you sleep?" And she's like, "Well, I got 14 hours of sleep last night, so I'm probably just gonna head back to the hotel, eat some dinner, and try and do the same again tonight." Like just incredible stuff that makes, again, it just makes the LPGA Tour just so relatable on so many levels, right? Like whether it's like actually being able to apply some of the ways they play golf and dissect golf courses, whatever they do. Obviously they do it to a ridiculous level. I think like the field to par today must be like 150 under par. Like everybody's 4 under or better today. It's crazy. But and then just like being candid like that, like that's just so awesome to see. Versus kind of, unfortunately, unless you get a really special guy on the PGA Tour, like I feel like 80% it's just all cookie cutter stuff, unless you get like a guy like Rory or Jordan, or usually pretty open and honest, or even like a Ricky Fowler, I feel like. But 90% of or 80%, whatever, the rest of the tour is very they're not going to reveal too much, and it's like, I don't know, they act like it's a big secret or something. It's a little weird.
Yeah. And Matt, you mentioned how low the field is going here on Sunday, and scores overall are really low this week. It's interesting because I think a couple of weeks ago it came up as to how do we market the women's game? How do we get more people involved? And one of the things that came up was, let's make golf courses more scoreable. I think the PGA Tour kind of playbook or formula is, unless it's a major, and even in like the PGA, like it doesn't play that hard. Unless it's a major, like let's make this a birdie fest. Let's have people going low and opportunities for kind of fireworks on the back nine. And I don't know if this is a response, to that question. I think that was it was kind of determined that, yes, we need to make some of the golf courses more playable, a little bit shorter, a little bit more accessible for, because a lot of the women just don't hit it or spin it as much as the men do. So kind of sometimes you can get in trouble with difficult golf courses putting pins on front parts of the green. It's just you can't get to them because they don't spin it enough. So kind of setting up the golf course in a way that would allow birdies to be made down the stretch. And I don't know if this is a response, but I got to think that the perfect conditions in Palm Springs this week, and maybe kind of that little, voice in the commissioner's ear to kind of set this one up a little bit easier and get some fireworks. I mean, I got to say, it was super interesting. I watched a lot Thursday and Friday. I love how they did the at night recaps too. And they just being on the West Coast, you kind of they have a nice little time slot there, and like 5 to 8 in the afternoon when nothing else is being played. And just awesome to see how the way they play golf and make a bunch of birdies. And I agree. I think to get more people in the game, we need to see them going low, just like the people on the PGA Tour did, right? Jordan Spieth got it done at the Valero Texas Open, 18 under. The winner at ANA is going to be 18 or 19 under, most likely.
Yeah.
So I like the path that they're going down. Joey, any other kind of comments on the ANA, or do you want to just dive into your boy Jordan and how he got it done this weekend?
I don't want to have to go back and find the episode that I said Jordan Spieth would win again this year, but I know it was said by me.
It was probably like our season kickoff. Like, what do we expect out of him?
It had to have been.
You were definitely. I think we might have done the Jordan or Tony first, and you rode Jordan hard and you won.
Oh,
so
weird.
Kudos to you. I would also like to add that I fucking picked him this week, and we didn't put up a goddamn picks post the one time I get it right. And now we never got it up. So like now the one time I get it right, I'm gonna get no credit unless somebody listens to this.
Did you put any money on him for an outright this week or no?
I did. But he had such good odds, so it's like.
Well, yeah, my brother texted me. He goes, because he listened to the episode last week, and he goes, "Did Matt put money on him?" I was like, "I think so, but I'm not 100%."
It wasn't crazy. I threw a little bit on it. I didn't make out as much as Eric did with the Max Homo bet because he went all in on Max and it paid off in pretty nice dividends. But I put a little bit on there, so I didn't lose by any means, but it's like, damn, now it's like at least we diversified our winning here a little bit. Eric's got 2 now, I think, and we got 3 as a staff. That's pretty good before the majors come in.
That actually is
3 out of 10 tournaments.
It's gonna take me for fucking ever to get a pick right. I guarantee. Actually, that's wrong. I'm already getting my Max's pick.
You pick with your heart, Joe. It's okay. Yeah. You pick with your heart.
Yeah, I do. That's that. I do.
But 3 out of 10 as a staff, outright winners, not bad. We ice cold start until we finally broke through a Max at Genesis, but kind of finding our rhythm here. It's weird how when you watch golf every week, you start actually understanding the field, who to pick.
Weird. The favorite this week just happened to get it done. The betting favorite just happens to win.
He might be the betting favorite at Augusta by tomorrow morning.
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Dustin have essentially the same odds come tomorrow morning.
Yeah. Anyway, let's give Jordan his full praise on that. I got my little rant out about the picking him, but I mean, looked damn good today doing it. I mean, missed his first few fairways, 3 or 4, and then I think he hit the rest, like the next 10 or 11, the rest of the way. Irons are ridiculous right now. He's just dart city. He missed maybe a couple, but missed them in spots. I mean, his short game is also ridiculous, but he missed it in spots and then made it look pretty simple to get him up and down and keep his momentum going. Charlie Hoffman came for that ass today. Like, he brought it. Like, Charlie Hoffman was like grind. And unfortunately, I think he's not going to get into the Masters now. He needed a win this week. And we always loved the Charlie Hoffman 6 under Thursday, top of the leaderboard, and then kind of plateau there for the week. But unless I missed something, I think he had to win this week to get there. He hasn't had the strongest of years, but dude loves it's TPC San Antonio he's at, right?
Correct. Yep.
14 cuts in a row there. I think he's made like $4 million, $4.5 million there in his career without a win. He's like earned the most FedEx Cup points there. Like that is his golf course. Like he owns that place. I think he shot 5 or 6 under today. So like he made Jordan play well to earn that first victory in 4 years now, almost 4 full years from the Open Championship. But man, it's fun to watch Jordan play golf, and it's awesome to see him in the winner's circle. And he did it like there's no fluke to that today. Like it wasn't like kind of waste management-y or earlier in the year when he started kind of poking around where it's like he's just finding a way to put in the hole, but it's like it's all over the place. Like today, he striped the ball, and I think do you finish 6 under or 5 under on the day? Either way, that's a fucking.
I think he finished
Sunday.
Yeah, I think he finished 6, but I think I like your point about it wasn't a fluke. I knew this week was going to be a little bit different from him when he won the morning wave. Like, yeah, he wasn't the leader after day 1, but he had the low score of the morning wave. So if you're beating, I mean, I think there's probably 156 guys in this week. If you're beating half the field and, dominating your side, that just that tells you something. You know, sometimes conditions were tough in the morning and a little bit easier in the afternoon, and the scores kind of showed that. But if you go out and you win the morning like he did, and beat some studs like Scotty Scheffler and Ryan Palmer, and nip them pretty good, and I think he bogeyed 9, which was his 18th hole of Thursday to shoot 5 under. So it was clinical, I would say, from the beginning. And for Spieth to kind of come with that and just, I mean, I don't know how many birdies he made this week, 25 probably.
Yeah.
That's just that type of offense is just unheralded. Like, I know people do that on the PGA Tour, and right, DJ shot 30 under at TPC Boston, but when you get into the mid 20s in a week making birdies, Augusta National, he's gonna make 1 million birdies next week. I don't know if he wins, but he's gonna make 1 million.
Yeah, it just takes so much. You're just in such a better mindset when you have the offense going. Like, Mikey, it's like we're obviously never in that stratosphere of making 6, 7, 8 a round. But even if you're like, if you get in these rhythms, or you have a couple weeks or a few rounds in a row at our level where it's like you just make 3 birdies without like feeling like you're doing anything crazy, and like that just makes the rest of your game so much easier. Like, I feel like when I have rounds where like I'm like through 14 holes and it's like, Jesus, I haven't even sniffed a birdie yet. It's like, it's so hard to shoot better than like 75, 76 for me. Like, and it's like, you need offense just to like, obviously like a birdie and a bogey back to back is better than 2 pars sometimes, like just to know that like, hey, like a bogey's not going to kill me here because I know I can get it back. Like, having that like kind of confidence or whatever it does by having all that offense going, it frees you up. And it's like, even if you make a bogey, like everybody's gonna make a bogey. Nobody plays 72 holes without a bogey on the PGA Tour, no matter how good these guys are. It's like, you're gonna make them. But when you have in the back of your mind, you're like, listen, it's okay because I'm gonna make 7 birdies today. You just play better. When you're playing that, like, if I make a bogey, I'm fucked mindset. Like, sometimes it happens in US Opens and they make them ridiculously hard golf courses. But when you have that, like, I can't make a bogey, or like I need to go under par before I go over par, and like that lack of confidence, and like, hey, the offense is there. I have it right now. I don't know, whatever it may be. Like, they know what it is, obviously, but I don't. But it's like having that offense and you're like, or the confidence that your offense is there. It's just like, it just frees you up to just play better golf. It's like, I know it sounds dumb because like obviously if you're making birdies, you're playing better golf. But like, even if it's not as clean as you'd like it, I'd rather be sloppy and have offense than like have a clean 17 par in a bogey round. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just feels better to know that you can make up bogeys versus being like, I got to just try to make as little bogeys as possible today. Like, it's just a different mindset. And I think, like Mike said, like him doing it here, 25, 20, whatever birdies he made this week, and the way he plays at Augusta, like he is going to be in the mix regardless. And as long as he avoids a big number, he's going to be within striking distance come Sunday, unless something drastic happens over the next 4 days. It's kind of unforeseen. I know the weather actually looks a little sketchy, to be honest. I looked a little, obviously we're a pretty good ways away, but looks like a lot of rain, thunderstorm, stuff like that, like Thursday, Friday. So as long as he doesn't get screwed with any crazy, weather, like kind of like you said, Mike, like your wave versus the afternoon wave, if he doesn't get screwed too bad with any of that and the offense is there, as long as he avoids like a massive number, like he's going to be in the mix. I think just having that offense is huge, especially for him, right? He struggled so much last 4 years. It was awesome to see him play the way he did this week.
Yeah, I got good feelings about him.
And birdies means that putts are falling. So, and for Jordan Spieth, that's
he's
that's
at the right time.
Do you think now, obviously peaking at the right time where all this trending stuff is awesome, and even before he won this week, like all the money, I think we talked about it on last week's pod, like all the money was on Jordan Spieth at Augusta just because the way he's trending and his history there and whatever else. Now that he won, do you think that, like, obviously I think it's so different than like trying to go back to back in any other week because you're always going to be more up for Augusta than anywhere else. But like, do you think it's like easier for him to carry that momentum, or do you think he almost wishes that he had a solid week and finished 5th, but like still has that fire? Like, I don't know. You never lose fire going to Augusta. Like, what are your thoughts on like now he has to go back to back to do it, right? Which for whatever reason seems harder, even though like his effort level doesn't change because he won at Augusta. It's just, or it's just, What are you guys' thoughts on that, I guess?
I all weekend when, I had members even coming in saying like, oh, you've been watching Jordan, you watching Jordan. I honestly kept saying like, I love him playing well, but I don't want him to win this week because it's so hard to go back to back, right? But now that he won it, I'm just going to spin zone it and say, look, he got that. He got it off his chest, right? He's on top of the fucking world now. So now he's going to go to Augusta and just try to tear up the place because he just has that much more confidence. So
the gates are open. I like that.
Exactly. I think
they put a stat out. There's only been like 4 people to win the week before and then win at Augusta. There's a couple from like 1940 earlier, so those, I mean, let's not act like those count. Somebody did in like 1980 something, I don't remember, but Phil did it in 2006. So a little bit.
I do. I think Jordan can do it, and I think of course, I'm going to say that because I love the guy. But
again, I think the way he did it is why, right? Like, and it's not like he just went there, played a shitty field, and just like, had a ridiculous week with the putter, but the game was kind of sketchy. Like he was hitting like hard, like power fade, like nice tight cut drivers, which for him, I feel like that's the shot he's always struggled with the most is going left to right. He's always been able to turn it over. He kind of hits that like tight draw off the tee is like, I feel like is normal with the driver at least. They obviously can hit all the shots, but I feel like that's his kind of go-to. But I saw on the back 9 today with Charlie Hoffman kind of coming, like making some birdies. Like Charlie Hoffman played unreal and like was chipping in on him. Like a lot of intensity on the back 9 for Charlie today. Like really came after that ass. Like
he's got some pop too. Yeah. Can we talk about Charlie Hoffman's pop?
Sneaky pop. I'm watching him like one of the holes. It's like borderline drivable. I think it was like they're waiting for the green to clear or whatever. I think more of as a courtesy. I don't think they were actually going to drive it green, but he kind of hit this like kind of like high cut, and then all of a sudden I'm like, holy shit, 293 carry on the high cut for Charlie Hoffman. Like I thought he would have to step on one to get that kind of carry number. Like obviously they're in Texas, so the ball goes a little bit, but he was out there with or past Jordan and Matt Wallace who pepper the ball. So I was impressed with the pop.
On number 9 was like 470 uphill, and he hit wedge into that back pin, and he hit like this butter cut. Ball speed is 177. I was like, what is going on?
Maybe I just haven't seen him play recently, but I do not remember that kind of pop. I don't remember that at all. But it was I think a world where Jordan Spieth can grab the driver and be like, let me butter one here and do it like and hit it 300 yards, like the scary place for the PGA Tour. Yeah. If he's got any kind of control on that driver, like watch out because his irons are ridiculous and the putter's rolling well right now, like dangerous.
If it was leading into any other major or any other tournament, I wouldn't say yes, but because it's Augusta and how much like he loves that place himself and how much it would probably, how much this would mean to him. I don't know. I got a good feeling, and I know it's going to be tough, but I'm excited for it.
It's also a place that fits him, right? So it's not like if you're going to a U.S. Open after that, it's like, oh boy, I got to get up again. This course doesn't really fit me. I got to really grind this out. Like you're already like you're not like I don't know. You're not at the top of the world. Like Augusta's his place. Like he just even when he plays like shit leading into those, he's always still back in the mix. Like the last 3 years, I bet you his best finishes were just at Augusta. Like that's where he plays his best. So I think it's like you said, I think any other tournament I'd kind of fade him next week, but he's gonna get up for Augusta. That's his comfort zone. I think he's gonna be there come Saturday.
He'll be in contention, that's for sure.
Yep. I think too, right? I think we'd be remiss to not talk about the fact that Jordan Spieth is a prolific winner.
Yeah.
Right? I know he hasn't won in a while, but he won a ton in his first 4 years on tour. And he won 4 majors. So I think that is an aspect that we can't just gloss over, because if he can figure out how to win again, the ability is there and he knows how to win. He just needed to feel it again. So exactly, kind of, I got my swagger back, as that guy would say. But I think he's just a prolific winner, and I expect him to play well at Augusta. I don't know if my money would be on him just with kind of where the odds are at right now, but if you're a Jordan Spieth fan, I think you're putting a little cash on it and letting it ride this week. I like Jordan Spieth moving forward. I would expect him to contend later on this year. Texas again, right? He's going to be a favorite at Colonial if he's playing. He's back with, yeah. I mean, Kiwa, I don't really know how his game fits up for that. I got to think it's going to play unbelievably tough, right? So guys that grind and have good short games are going to be in there. But just interested to see how Jordan plays this week, and really excited for the Masters moving ahead. Anybody else this week, Matt, that kind of caught your eye? That's I don't know. Is Matt Wallace in the field at the Masters?
He might be. He's like 60th in the world. Like he's right on the cusp of being that auto qualify. I know he's majority a Euro guy, but guy can strike a golf ball. I mean, he hit the ball really, really well today and just couldn't make shit. Like on that front nine, especially, Jordan was only at 1 or 2 under through the first like 7 or 8 holes. Like he didn't come firing out of the gates. He played really well in the back to really kind of go toe for toe with Charlie. But like Matt Wallace had plenty of opportunity that first like 6, 7, 8 holes to like make a few and like kind of get up there either with or even past Spieth. And he just missed a bunch of putts from inside 15 feet. I mean, you're not going to make them all, but he probably went like 0 for 4, 0 for 5 inside 15 feet on the first 8 holes, which come Sunday when you're already starting a shot or two behind, you just can't afford to miss that many of those. But I mean, the ball striking was impressive. I mean, just absolutely peppers the ball.
Yeah, and I like his game a lot. He's struggled a little bit the last year or so after a really good stretch. I wouldn't be surprised if he's not in the field, and he was playing this week in an attempt to win to get into the field.
Yeah.
Like a lot of those Euro guys do. Kind of they come over and play for a few weeks stretch and try to either move into the top 50 before the automatic or try to win. But again, some of the normal dogs were up there. Corey Connors played decent this week.
Ricky Fowler, actually, let's give him a little credit. Probably his best week in a long time.
68 on a good 4 under 68 on Thursday.
Yeah.
Or 67 or whatever he shot. Yeah.
I saw him like the putter looked good again, which has been really bad this year, which is surprising because he always rolls it well. So it looked like he putted it pretty well this week. And I want to say he finished maybe like 15th, like top. I feel like he was pretty close to that top 20. So not what he needed. Obviously, he's going to miss the Masters year. It's his first major missed in like 43 majors.
2010.
Yeah. So really impressive run by him that unfortunately comes to an end. And, he's been awful for the last 2 years. But he's an awesome guy. Like he takes it with stride about as well as he could. He gets a lot of shit for doing commercials 24/7 and just sucking like the last 2 years. He's been on every Ryder Cup team. He went to the Olympics a few years ago. Like he's a stud. It's in there. And I think we might have hit on it before, but I think he's not, I don't think he has the ceiling that Jordan does, but he's one of those guys that it's in there and he seems to have the right attitude about it. I think it'll turn around, but sucks to see that stretch come to an end. But I think this week he gave it a really good run, just like finally kind of cemented himself and like was at least relevant, like obviously he was like, I've probably finished his 10 back or whatever by the end of this tournament, but like made a cut and it's not like he made it on the number. And it's like, just a little more progress, like a little higher up the leaderboard. And it actually looked like he had some things working for him that have been way off this year. So obviously not what he needed to get into Augusta or anything, but I want to give him a little credit because at least I have definitely shit on him over the last 6 months doing this podcast. So I want to give him a little credit for kind of coming back to earth and showing a little fight this week, so I think it'll be good for him. Hopefully he kind of builds on that instead of being upset that he's missing the Masters and can, put together a good summer, maybe get in more top 10, top 5, something like that. Give himself a chance at maybe an off field, whatever it is, just get back in that contention vibe. And I don't know where that would be, but I'm rooting for Ricky. Long story short,
I think we all are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I just checked T17 this week for Ricky Fowler. So good to see him in the top 20 and make some good money and hopefully get a little momentum. Fontaine, I think you hit on the head. I would expect Ricky to have a couple more good weeks, and I don't know if he wins this year. I don't know if that would be too much of a stretch from kind of where he was, but with someone with his ability, would expect him to be in the mix a little bit more moving forward. But I think we kind of covered it all. It was a great weekend of golf and an interesting one. I think we kind of got an opportunity to see a bunch of different types of golf with the Augusta National Women's Amateur and the ANA, and also Valero Texas Open, which I think unrightly so, a lot of people on the PGA Tour and on Golf Channel for some reason kind of faded this tournament as if like it really wasn't that big of a tournament and whatever. I thought the golf course was tremendous, and it was a lot of fun to watch. And obviously we got a reasonably strong field and little Jordan Spieth fireworks that made it that much more fun. But looking forward to catching up with you boys in a couple of days and chatting Masters. It's a special week. So Matt, are you gonna make anything? You're gonna show everyone at Bogey Proof something special that they do at Augusta?
Folks, get ready for a nice content week out of Bogey Proof here. All right, we're gonna throw a blog at you probably early when this podcast drops. Whole Masters episode, probably gonna be a long one, but it's the Masters, so everybody, tune in and get ready. We're gonna do a cocktail of the week, and we're gonna do a sandwich of the week. I'll wait to reveal the sandwich just to build a little suspense. You guys can probably guess what it is, but we're gonna add a little extra content to the rotation this week. It's Augusta, it's the Masters, it's back in its original time slot, first major of the year. Everything feels right in the world again, and we're gonna take full advantage and maximize the content out of Bogey Proof this week. We would be fools if we didn't. So more to come. As much content as we can fit in 1 week, we're gonna try and do. But definitely gonna give you guys a little something different this week, given it's Augusta and it's first major of 2021.
Yeah, Masters 2021. Joseph travels the country playing epic golf courses. It's going to be
live.
It's going to be a heck of a week, and just tons of content on the Masters front, but also too, I think we'll get some picks up there from Joey's travel. I know he's going to make it to Pinehurst here middle of the week, so hopefully we're going to get on the golf course and enjoy a round together. And he's going to continue on and see Eric as well. So going to be an awesome week, and looking forward to sharing it with you guys. Boys, always good to see you.
Always
Cheers.
Cheers to Masters week.
Cheers to Masters week.
Cheers to Masters week.